4, 3, 2, 1.
And away we go as we broadcast live from Kraft Nissan, and the players are beginning to file in. The fans are here. Listeners abound. It is Florida State-Miami weekend, and that says it all. Jeff Cameron Show underway live in reverse this time around. We had the recorded first hour, but we're all live now here at Kraft Nissan. And in short order, we'll have a chance to talk to Peter Warrick. I saw him floating around here. William Floyd. Luke Loucks is scheduled to be here as well. The new head basketball coach. We'll talk with him as well, and we'll see if Charlie Ward makes his way over. We'll definitely have Charlie Ward on the air. So it's a veritable who's who, legendary players and coaches, and it's exciting to be able to get to talk to those guys who played in this rivalry. And I had the good fortune today, kind of born out of nerves, Tom, to go back and YouTube's an amazing thing.
It really is.
I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole with a rivalry like this that goes, I'm fortunate enough to have been to so many of these Florida State-Miami games, and the nerves hit me this morning because I care about this rivalry more than any other that Florida State has, and I care about these games and these moments in time. And, life sneaks up on you. It happens fast, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're 54 years old, and you think, how long have I been going to these games? How long have I been attending Florida State-Miami games? It goes way back before I ever moved to Tallahassee, I can tell you that. It goes all the way back to my dad taking me to these games in the early 80s all the way through, and now here we are in 2025, and I have rarely missed Florida State-Miami games, and there have been heartbreaking moments, there have been legendary wins, there have been everything in between, but this feels special again. It feels very special again because the two teams are good and there's something on the line. We've spent too much time, these two teams have, and by the way, I never care if Miami's ever good again, but the fact that they are certainly brings juice to the rivalry. There's no doubt. I'm not like a lot of people who say, you want your rival to be good. No, I want my rivals to suck. But that's okay. When they are, I recognize what it brings and what's at stake. And today I felt that. But I went down memory lane from the 80s all the way through the 2000s and basically condensed gamed every one of those contests. And it's just, you talk about the names. You talk about the moments that you had forgotten. The second down play in the second quarter that at the time just broke your heart. You remember putting your head in your hands. You remember being flustered by the opportunity wasted or the big catch or the drop or the missed kick, unfortunately, or whatever it is. But the names for these two programs, and I'm not just talking about the legends that went on to the league and became, either Hall of Famers or All Pros or perennial All-Star type players. I'm talking about just great college football players that littered the field for both these universities. It was fun. It was phenomenal.
I'm imagining that you're going to sleep pretty well tonight because even in watching some of those games in replays, your heart starts racing all over again. It reminds me of over the summer when the U.S. Open's on, they were in a weather delay, and they played Tiger from 2008. And you feel it all over again. Like, all these feelings. And Miami's the same way. And I got to tell you, this is a strange feeling for me, this game against Miami, with Miami being so good. Because in my time, 18 years ago was my first game against Miami in person as a student in the stands. That had little to no juice because neither team was good.
Right, yeah.
And there have been a couple of matchups where the rankings are pretty high. 2009 was about hype on a Labor Day Monday night. 2013 was a top 10 matchup, but we knew that Miami was a paper tiger that year and we were dominant.
Yep.
So the result, even though the game was a top 10 matchup, the result was not in doubt whatsoever. 2015, we had Dalvin. And, of course, 2017, it started to turn with Third and Kelly and went the other way. But it's hardly ever been this much in doubt with two teams that are potentially this good at the same time for me in the stands or me around the town. This is different for me, and I'm embracing it. You can feel the energy. There's a hell of a lot of people here today.
I started feeling it throughout the town yesterday and a little bit on Wednesday, but a lot yesterday. If you were out and about at all, I went and got food to go from Gordo's and picked up there and had a beverage and looked around the barscape there and saw so many faces. The place was packed. Everybody was excited. The single most dominant conversation, no matter what part of the restaurant you went to, was this game, were these moments, was the anticipation, can Florida State bounce back after that loss to Virginia? Which defense is the real defense, the one that played against Bama or the one that we saw get a little lost in the second half against Virginia? Florida State's offense has yet to be stopped. This is the best defense that they have faced. I think they're better than Alabama's defense, and I think it's a real challenge. But if you pass that test and you're good again on offense, well, then you might have a juggernaut on your hands offensively. And, we all talk about the style of game we think it's going to take to win. What are the matchups that you like or you're worried about? There's nothing like this. It's so good to be good again, or at least I think we are good again. Last year it took its toll. I don't think we know to what degree until the game started this year when we walked into that stadium for the opener against Bama, and you finally felt like you could exhale and let go what happened last year. You felt like a burden was lifted off your shoulders, and it was time to enjoy football again. It was time to do it up, and to watch these players, a whole new set of players, get the thing done, right? Get it done. Get us back into good graces and feeling great about our team again. And it happened. Well, what that did was it launched a different conversation. It launched what was possible, what could be possible, I should say, because I think a lot of us just hoped that this could be a 8-4 type of team that maybe doesn't really compete for the conference title, but doesn't embarrass you. It's a big step forward. It secures your coaching position where you're not going to have to start over. But you beat Alabama, and it changed the way we viewed this game and all the games. Because now, even with the loss to Virginia, because you did beat Bama, you're still in a good position to be a playoff contender and a conference champion. So you're still in a good spot.
Well, and you've also seen it happen in this building. You saw it happen in this building just a little bit more than a month ago with the energy, with the passion, with the physicality. And basically it was Alabama who said uncle in that game. They did not meet the challenge that Florida State brought to the table. So because you've seen that, it makes tomorrow feel a lot easier. It doesn't mean that's going to be an easy game, but it feels easier. It feels feasible for Florida State to rise up in some of the physicality necessary in order to make it happen against Miami. That was a close one. And so that's the thing here. If you had not beaten Alabama, or let's just say that you beat Alabama, but it was a total slop fest, and you were the last one standing at the end of the game, you might feel a little less comfortable with tomorrow's circumstances. But the sense I'm getting with a lot of fans around here and everybody in town, the people in the chat, is they feel like this is very doable tomorrow. Miami might be number 3 in the country, but there have been a lot of times in this rivalry in the last 20 years where one team had it and the other didn't, and we all kind of knew it. And we asked, last year's an example. We go down there like, well, do they want to trip all over themselves? Because they're going to need to if we're going to be able to rally and upset them in this situation. It did happen a few years back with 4th and 14. You were in the stands for that game.
Yeah, so
they did trip all over themselves, and then the spike with inside of 3 seconds left. That was hilarious.
Glorious.
But most of the time, the last 20 years, if one team was really good, the other just wasn't. And here you are. Both teams potentially are. I don't think there's much of a differential between Miami and Florida State and the rest of the top 15 in the country. I think we're in the club. I think they're in the club. But the game's here. And we saw what that impact can be against Alabama.
What they're trying, and by the way, this has that feel. This has that Florida State-Alabama feel, both in approach, style. It has the same feel. The one thing I would say is, obviously, if you're Miami and you look at it through a different prism, if you're Miami, you're saying to yourself, this is a chance to solidify we're one of the country's elite. Going on the road, beating a top 25 Florida State team at night, a team that hasn't been stopped offensively yet, that would solidify their place in that top 3. They'd feel very, very good about a shot at making the playoff and maybe even making a run at a national title. That will be their conversation. For Florida State, it's the fight to get back into that conversation, to get back into the thought that, okay, listen, we can win this league, and if you win this league, you're in the playoff. And if you're in the playoff, ... right? You got the shot. So a little bit of different tug of war here, but both are very, very meaningful. And then you mix in the fact that they hate each other. I mean, they hate each other, and we hate each other. And it's you feel that. The blood boils. You walk in, those two colors as they come out of the tunnels, it's everything.
Yeah, I think the Alabama weekend, they both have the same energy. You're absolutely right. I think the difference is there's a little bit more expectation for this game because we did see the Alabama game. There was also some, I think there was some worry,
Miami,
but I think there was also some worry in the stands for Alabama. It was, okay,
don't get blown out.
Right. I want to see improvements. Everybody hang tight here. Let's see what happens. But then by the time you score your first touchdown, it's 7-7. Then you force a punt. And then Danzy scores in the end around. It's 14-7. You stop them again. That thing flipped. The attitude of the fan base in those few drives flipped from, I hope we can keep it in touch to, oh, let's go get their ass today. Let's finish this right here, right now.
Well, if you listen to the first hour that Tom and I did this morning when we had Lee Sterling on for Paramount Sports and we had my mom on with her picks, we had to do that because we were going to be here live. You know then why I want the ball.
Yeah.
You know, I want that. Let's go get their ass is the mentality you're talking about. That's the ultimate sign of let's go get their ass. We love our offense. We think we're going to move the ball against you. We don't care that you have 2 first-round ends. We're going to go for this, and we're going to make plays, and we're going to put you on your heels. I don't think they'll look at it that way. I'm going to lobby for it, and maybe by the good graces of the airwaves, it lands at the desk of Mike Norvell.
Or Miami wins the toss and they kick it to us, and you get your wish
defer.
anyway.
Yeah.
Because if they defer, then we're getting the ball, and then you can set the tone. Next thing you know, get a score and a stop to start the game. That's what you're looking for. I can tell you want the score and the stop.
Oh, you begin to feel it in your
and then
bones.
You just say, squirrel, catch the ball, and then you're off and running.
Yes, you begin to feel it. Then you begin to say, okay, now what's possible? And, we dare to dream scenarios all the time for games. We do it in our life in every facet, but no more than you do in sports. Well, if this happens and then we're able to do this, then I really think we can do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden you're projecting scores in your head. If that happens, we might win 38-7. It's like you start thinking of all these crazy, but sometimes it happens.
Sure.
Sometimes it happens exactly like you think it's going to happen. So dream up, baby. Dream up.
Well, and that's where the variance in the outcomes of this game is this wild. It feels like a first game of the season in that regard. Like, we have data on both teams, but it's still, even with that information, I don't know. What if Miami calls the right blitz at the right time against a trick play, and now you're in 2nd and 25 and that drive's dead? And they've already scored. You punt it to them, they score again, and now they can pin their ears back with Mesidor and Bain. Like, that's the recipe for it to go the other way. Is that a crazy proposition? No. In no way, shape, or form is that a crazy proposition. But neither is it that Beck misses a throw. You rise up, you stop the traditional run because the quarterback run is something you're not afraid of, so you tee off against the traditional run. You get 2 stops in the first 3 drives. You score 17 points. You're up 17-7. Miami's got the ball, and you go, you guys probably need to go on a drive here because if you don't, this game's over. It could go either way.
Let us dream of that scenario playing out, coming to fruition. By the way, real quick, read I don't have it in front of me, so I can't see the questions that we're getting in donations.
Got 3 of them.
The reason I want to do it is because this next segment we're going to have, I think Luke is going to sit down with me this very next segment, so we'll break a little early. Let's get to those questions.
Joey Two Guns, which is a great name, fellas. LFG, it's a great day. Would like to ask why I don't see you all on Rumble. On their side of the camera is better than YouTube. Fair enough. All right, thank you, Joey Two Guns. I don't get that reference, do you?
I don't know what Rumble is.
I don't know what that means.
We're old.
Sydney Sweeney Fan Club, F Miami, FF Miami. Tom, UM versus FSU is not comparable to golf. F Miami as a team, as a fan base, as a crew. Why does Tom look bigger than Jeff? I don't know. The camera.
He's closer to it.
Yeah, it could be. All right, thank you very much. Ohio, no, Jeff, I'm in Charlotte getting ready to board my connecting flight to Tally. Is the keg stand happening tonight at CP? Go Noles. Oh, it's not.
It can't because I'm going to be in Cairo watching my son play high school football, so there's nothing I can do about that.
What if we dragged a keg out to Cairo, Georgia?
I would do it. I would do it.
2nd and 10.
Yeah. What's going on in the background?
Folks, we have a stoppage here. There's a fan doing a keg stand at the 22.
I'd be more than happy to do all of those things, but I can't. So we're going to have to look. High school football season is almost over. There will be a time. There will be an opportunity. I think tonight is game number 6. They only play 10. Soon enough, we'll be able to do this.
I got to make it to one. They got one at home, right? Still?
Oh, yeah.
Like their actual proper campus?
Yes.
I got to do one before his career's over.
Yeah, I need my boy to have a big night tonight. And there's a chance he will. That's all I'll say. I saw the game plan, so it could get interesting. Anyhow, that's why I can't do the cake stand. Thanks for the contribution. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a player. I don't know if it's going to be a football player or a basketball player, but we're going to have a player. Chef Cameron Show live from Kraft Nissan. The Heisman Trophy is here. Former Seminole greats are here. We're here. Lots of fellow Seminoles are here. Come on by, feel a little bit of this buzz, have some fun, take a picture with the Heisman Trophy. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. loansforknoles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknoles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknoles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Here's the cold, hard truth. Your body needs more than you're giving it to stay healthy. And now it's easier than ever with Vigor, the all-new cold plunge tub from Hot Spring Spas. Available only at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Cold plunges reduce muscle soreness, boost mood, improve sleep, and so much more. It's not just a trend, it's science-backed wellness. And now you can have it in your own home. Ready to feel alive again? Pinch a Penny has the exclusive home use solution. Visit us on Capitol Circle Northeast and take the plunge.
Florida man, you're all crooked again. What did you do to yourself this time?
Well, we were tailgating before the big game, and I had to defend Hank's honor. Some guy saw him wearing his gold chain and said, "Nice Gator fan." Can you believe that? Hank is a Seminole, thank you very much. But it all went downhill during Flip Cup. Hank was losing bad, and the guy starts heckling. He says, "Figures a Gator fan can't flip." The next thing I know, Hank's all over the table and going for the guy's throat. I tried to break it up. I grabbed a keg to end the chaos, and bam, my back went out like a lawn chair in a hurricane. I didn't even make it to the game.
Let me guess, Hank went without you.
Yep, stormed the field after the win.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finchiro.com, and you'll even get an online discount. Visit finchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State Athletic. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Well, now we're broadcasting live from Kraft Nissan. Luke Loucks sits next to me. He's Florida State's new head basketball coach, relatively new. He's already making splashes, and he sits down here to talk. So, first of all, what a whirlwind, man. This has been so fun to watch you guys. I know you can't get into specifics with recruiting, but I do want to talk to you about big picture stuff here, which is your pitch, because it's working, obviously. And what was your goal? Obviously, you got to get players in here, and you've said about the process of doing that. What do you think about your pitch resonates most? Because it clearly is. You got a lot of yeses from big names. We can't get into those names, but we got a lot of yeses from big names, so clearly it's resonating.
Yeah, first of all, there's a few things to go into it. Our staff has been incredible. Everyone's asking me how we're doing so well in recruiting. It's them, right? I show up, I'm like the circus clown. I'm sitting here and juggling. They're telling me where to go and who to talk to, and I know what I want to sell because I believe in it, right? And I think that's the first thing that's helping us is it's not a sales pitch. It's authentic. This is how I believe basketball should be played. It's my job and our staff's job to develop guys to get them to the NBA. It's your job to help me win a lot of games so I don't get fired, right? and those two things can coexist. So I think a lot of college basketball coaches, not talking bad about anyone else, but they only worry about their team and their campus, and then these guys get to the next level and they don't know how to play basketball. They know how to play their brand of basketball. And my pitch to these kids is, this is the only style I know, is the NBA style. And I'm bringing that to Florida State. And it's not just the way you play during games. It's the way you train, the way you eat, the way you sleep. All of those things go into making you eventually the best basketball player possible. And I think that that pitch, I guess you would say, is authentic, because it's what I believe. And so I think it resonates not only with players, but families and agents. They're taking a whole different approach to this thing than most college coaches do.
I've been to a couple of your practices. I may be there again tomorrow if you don't mind.
Come on by.
I will. But they're fun.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, they get up and down the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, you get up and down the floor. So let's talk stylistic, because people don't know what to expect. I know what you want to do, but they don't know what you want to do.
Right.
Talk to me about how you want to play. You were in the NBA a minute ago. So just a minute ago, like not 10 years ago, a minute ago. So you were obviously at various points of your career, you were in the front office with Golden State. You've had to be the offensive coordinator. You've been a defensive coordinator in terms of Sacramento and Golden State. You've done these things, How do you want to play the game? Because the modern analytics say get out and go and shoot threes. That what we're going to see here?
Yeah, if you boil it all down to the simplest form, we want to play really fast with great space, right? We call it pace and space. They go hand in hand. I give you a little recruiting pitch.
Okay.
Jeff, you drive a Ferrari and you got a semi truck in front of you. How fast are you? You're as fast as a semi truck. So you can only play fast if you have proper spacing. So those two things go hand in hand. Analytically, it's much better to attack a defense that's not set. Right, you create early advantages as quickly as possible that then create open shots. Open shots generally go in at a higher rate than contested shots. So there is a pace aspect to it. And then you mentioned the 3-point attempts. It's not just launching as many threes as possible. You want to create great shots, right? The great shots are rim attempts, they're free throws, and they're catch and shoot 3-point attempts, right? Those all go hand in hand. If you attack the basket one-on-one, we're going to score at the rim. If you bring help, we're going to kick it out. If you bring help and I'm already going up, you're probably going to be late and foul me, which gets us free throws, and we can set our defense. All those things build into this analytical trend of the best style of basketball. That's why you watch NBA games. People think they don't play defense. These guys are trying as hard as they can. The talent is just so high, and they're playing a brand of basketball that constantly puts pressure on the defense. I believe, and I've seen it because a couple other schools, there's 2 other schools that have full NBA staffs that are doing this at a high level, one in the SEC and one in the Big 12. They both won championships. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't want our recruits going there.
Sure.
But I've seen an NBA style played in college, and all of a sudden they go from they're an okay team to how are they winning championships? Part of it's getting the right talent. Part of it's playing a brand of basketball it's really tough to guard.
When I've seen those practices, without giving anything away, you're up and down the floor. These guys got to be in incredible shape. You had to revamp your roster. You had to basically build a team, and so many new faces that the fans that'll be coming to these games are going to see. When you were doing that, how much stress did you feel that, I mean, look, I'm starting from scratch. I have a way I want to play, but I got to get the right guys to play that way.
Yep.
Talk about the roster construction that you have now. Obviously, you continue to build. We were just referencing the recruiting class, but how did you, at least this first group that we're going to see this year, how did you decide on those guys? Is it similar to what you've done in the continued recruitment of the next class?
Yeah, there's certain things. So it's going to take some time to build this exactly how I envision it, right? But for this first class, like you said, stress. I'm very rarely stressed. I'm a pretty laid back dude. But there was a certain type of pressure of like, you have 10 days until the portal opens.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out really quick what's important to you. A lot of coaches at this level throw together the best talent possible, and none of it fits, and you end up with a ton of talent that doesn't make sense.
That's what I was kind of. You did a better job of streamlining that. Yeah, but that's where I was trying to go. Yeah.
And so we had a few things characteristic. Some within analytics, and some within just the type of person and player that we wanted to go after. I guess you call them check marks, right? We have boxes that we want to check. So part of that, before we ever even talked to a kid, was through our analytical programs of we're watching film, but we're also scouring through databases of like, okay, do they check these? We want a ton of shooting. We want to play fast. We want efficient players. And we want guys that generally they can't be all offense and no defense, right? You got to guard to win games. And so through those process of both watching film and checking these boxes through our systems, we had a huge list go down to a pretty small list. And now that's when you start making those calls, getting to know them, doing intel, background, all that. And then eventually you bring them in and you sit down, you look in their eyes and figure out what they're made of. Right. And that's where I think we've done pretty well. We signed the first 6 guys that we brought in. At 6 out of 7, there was one that we brought in was like, this isn't going to be a fit. Right. You can tell right away the communication, his support system, the questions he was asking us. I'm like, if that's what you're worried about, you're probably not going to work here.
Yeah.
The 6 guys we wanted, we got them done because I think they felt our authenticity and what a great time to get in at a ground level. Like people are picking us right now in the conference 18 out of 18. I love it because to me, it motivates you. When I showed up as a player, and it wasn't because of me, it was because of the group we had. I was a very small part of it, but they picked us, I think, 10th out of 12th in the conference. Yeah. And we finished 3rd or 4th every year outside of the year we won it.
Well, you won a conference championship, and I'll brag on you for a second. 7-6 combined record. You're 7, they're 6. North Carolina Duke.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
so you have a winning record, sir.
It.
You got a winning record, sir, against North Carolina Duke and a conference championship.
Yeah.
Did some things. You're one of 5 guards that a head coach is in the ACC right now. You know that, right? When you go through them all, Shire and all those guys.
Yeah.
That always interests me. It kind of makes sense, though, doesn't it? That you would have a lot of coaches that were former guards.
Sure.
Kind of running things. And
the guards are an extension of the coaching staff, right? What's important, the coaching staff usually will funnel through your guards. And it's not saying that big guys can't be coaches, but a lot of times they're responding to whoever their point guard or lead guard is calling, right? You have to be the quarterback of the team, an extension of the head coach. So it was a great opportunity as my whole playing career. And I knew I eventually wanted to get into coaching, but to be that coach on the floor. And listen, I wasn't as talented as any of these. I made a ton of mistakes. And to me, I was a very average player, but I knew what went into winning, right? I was slow-footed. I would get blown, but I knew right where my help was. So I'd funnel the help, right? Offensively, I knew my job wasn't to score 20 a game. It was to get other guys involved. To me, you got to know your job, and then you got to go execute your role. And it doesn't matter if you're a coach, assistant coach, if you're a player, if you're a bench player, if you know your role and can go execute your role, and all of those things come together as a team, you have a group of people all executing their roles, good things are going to happen.
Last couple, I'll let you go. People are here to see you. I'm kind of curious. I saw Derwin Kitchen, who I loved as a player, joining the staff. He was one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he rebounded for a guard really, really well, and he was smart. And he played with heart, and he had a lot of things that I love about him. Talk about his role.
Yeah.
What is he going to be doing for you?
Derwin, he's had an unbelievable playing career here and professionally, made a lot of money playing overseas. Was one of my favorite teammates, right? And some of the things you touched on, but even more so than that, his composure. He in the biggest games, he never got too high, and the worst games, he never got too low. He had a temperament about him that was comforting, not only to his teammates, but the coaching staff. That goes into being a good coach, right? You can't ride this emotional roller coaster of great game, bad game. You're all over the place, right? And so he was one of the guys I initially thought of right off the bat. I didn't know if he would want to get into coaching. But it happened once we got talking about it. He was already working some guys out and doing some training and had the itch to get back involved in basketball.
Okay.
And so once we started, unfortunately, one of the main conversations was after Ryan Reed's funeral. We all got together. Almost all the former players came together. It was awesome. It's so sad. But we had some of those conversations, the day before, the day after. And, one thing led to another. There was some interest from him. Obviously, there was interest from us. And we made it work. But he as a coach, is going to be the most experienced coach? Absolutely not. But he brings, first of all, for my comfort level and for the roster, those guys gravitate towards him. He was a high-level player, and he just has a way about him. Yeah. It's already helped us in recruiting. It's crazy. Every parent of these kids remembers Derwin Kitty. He's one of the best guards in the nation coming out of Jacksonville. And so for him to just go on some of these recruiting visits, sit down with the parents, he's already helping way beyond what I had imagined, and he's going to continue to grow as a coach into a heck of a coach.
You brought your staff up. Last question. How do you divvy that up? I know the way it used to be done. I know that this coach has the scout for Duke, and if you play Duke twice in a year, he's going to have the scout both times. And then are you doing anything different with that?
Yeah, we're doing, and this is similar to the NBA. And again, talking about roles, every assistant coach on my staff has a very specific thing that he's in charge of. So Jim Moran is our offense coordinator, associate head coach. He's been in the NBA the last 12 years. been an offense coordinator for the Portland Trailblazers, Detroit, all over the place, right? Michael Fly is our GM, so he's leading all recruiting, all NIL, fundraising.
Knows everybody in the state.
Everyone.
It's unbelievable.
And the guy never sleeps. He's like,
I talked to him at your last practice that I was at. I was like, hey, there's not a guy in the game he doesn't know. It's unbelievable.
And he's a big part. He and Gerald Gillian are a big part of the reason we've had the class that you spoke of that we've had, because those guys are relentless.
Yeah.
Gerald Gillian's running my defense, and similar to Fly, knows everyone in the state. And we're going to focus on Florida and Georgia. Like, that's our sweet spot. There's more than 50 players out of the top 100 in Florida and Georgia. So why are we flying anywhere else? Let's focus on home. Chris Kent is running our player development, has run player development at the NBA level. And then Derwin Kitchen is in, there's no title for it, but he's in charge of all the relationships, right? Within our walls. He's in charge of the players. He's in charge of the staff. He's a connector as we teach him how to coach, right? And so within that, are they going to do things outside of that scope? 100%. We're going to have scouts. People are going to be in charge of different things, but that is what you're being judged on. If my offense is bad, I'm going to Jim. My defense is bad, I'm going to G. If we're doing bad recruiting, I'm Fly. You're coming over to the house. So talk me through this, right? And so it just creates a funnel system of like, hey, this is what you're in charge of. Yeah. I'm in charge of this team. If we lose games, I'm getting fired, right? If we're not good in offense, Jim, we're going to have some words. So everyone has their thing of what they're focused on. And to me, that's where you can be great in your role, right?
Yeah. I appreciate it. This has been great. Hey, we've got a lot of chances to talk. We'll have a lot of chances to talk before the start of the season. There's so much more I wanted to get into. This is a good sit down. Go enjoy the atmosphere.
We got to have a beer, too.
Let's go.
Come on, man.
Let's go, man.
What are we doing?
Go have a cigar, a beer, hang out.
On, let's do it.
I'm in. I'm ready. But you're kind of busy. I'm kind of busy. We're doing things. You're raising kids. I'm raising kids. You have my number.
Let's do it.
Be good, brother.
Good seeing you, Jeff.
Thank you. Luke Loucks, head basketball coach at Florida State. Good times. Good times talking Florida State basketball. Take a quick break, come back, and that chair will be filled by yet another former player. Chef Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now. The Leon County Sheriff's Office unveiled the findings of a drug trafficking investigation Wednesday. The arrest comes after several authorities conducted a criminal investigation last year during the summer. Authorities identified Abraham Wiggins as a suspected polydrug trafficker in Leon County. As the investigation continued, law enforcement determined that Wiggins was a DTO member responsible for selling and supplying cocaine along with other narcotics. The North Florida high-intensity drug trafficking area's cadre, who are responsible for dismantling and disrupting DTOs within Leon County and the Big Bend, took on the investigation to determine who was responsible for distributing alpha, known as Molly, and cocaine throughout the community. The investigation led to numerous arrests and search warrants being executed. Large amounts of Molly, marijuana, cocaine, 8 weapons, and U.S. currency in illegal proceeds were seized. This is an ongoing investigation with additional DTO members being identified and investigated. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 84. Northeasterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 68 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 83. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct, yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Football season is here, Tallahassee. Are you ready for backyard watch parties, burgers on the grill, and game day glory? Wait, not with those leaves piled up like a linebacker blocking the end zone. Call the lawn john. We'll tackle those falling leaves, clean up your yard, and lay down fresh pine straw or mulch so your lawn looks like a championship field. Don't fumble your fall cleanup. Call the Lawn Johns today, and let's score you the best-looking yard on the block. The Lawn Johns. Your lawn, our game.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I can promise you that having to tackle William Floyd many moons ago in like junior midgets football, we can't even say that anymore, can we?
Right.
Junior Pee Wee football was difficult. And then it only got more difficult the older he got, and then became a star at Florida State and then a star in the NFL. Stuff. I never got to play in a Florida State Miami game, but you did. And I watched every one of them. And I want to go through all of them.
Right.
What's it like? Tell our listeners, what's it like to step on? Okay, so 91's wide right. 92 is another miss, unfortunately.
Wide right.
Yeah, and I think that's a game you have like 3 catches for 50-something yards, right?
Yep,
if memory serves,
yep.
right? Down there. Mm-hmm. And I remember your first catch because I'm cheering for you. That's my man right there, and I'm excited for you. And you were brash even then, felt like you could tell you deserved to be out there, wanted to be out there, making plays. And then obviously we know what happens in 93.
Right.
So take me through the arc of all of this. What's it like for a player the first time they're in this rivalry?
Well, for me, my first time, of course, is 1990. I was a red shirt, but Coach Bowden used to take a few players down as red shirts. You get to hang out on the sideline. And I couldn't go because I was being mischievous that particular week. He told me, like, well, you're just my most mischievous kid. You're just always into something. But that particular week, I threw powder on somebody in the shower, and that stopped that. So that's 90 out of there. 91, I get a chance to play in that game. And I never forget one of the first plays on the goal line. I'm up, got my pads high. And I look at that as one of the plays that changed the trajectory of the game. It should have never came down to a kick. I get knocked on my butt on the goal line. But it was my welcome to college football moment that have never happened again. Then, of course, we have that wide right. 92, we go down there. Like you said, I had about 3 catches, about 50-something yards.
You were almost like a receiver in that game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you had a carry,
tight
did you?
end. No, we moved as the tight end.
Yeah.
I was actually second-string tight end, but we changed the offense a few weeks later to the shotgun. But, yeah, that 92 game, I was on the field for both kicks. I was out there, and I got to see both kicks from the field go wide right.
Yep.
And then in 93, man, I'll never forget. This is a good story. It's probably, that season you start hearing a lot of Phil Collins in the heat of the night.
Yeah.
It started at Miami game. We just finished talking trash. It was like back in the day when you had to actually know a guy's number. So on the phone that night, I think I called, man. Who was it I called, man? It might have been
Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis.
It might have been Warren Sapp or Rohan Marley. But anyway, some kind of way it was on one side. On the other side was me, Derek Brooks, Todd McIntosh, Derek Alexander, Devin Bush, Corey Sawyer. Then on their side, it was those guys like Sapp, Rohan Marley, Ray Lewis.
Was Armstead on those teams?
No. The Rock was there. That was Armstead and those guys that left.
Yeah.
I forgot. So Rohan was their,
yeah,
I guess their biggest linebacker or biggest name linebacker at that time. But we're just going back and forth. Everybody's talking about what they're going to do to each other. And I'm going to knock you out and I'm going to knock you out. And I can't wait to see you in the hole, like all that kind of stuff, right? So I see Dwayne, The Rock, he
wasn't The Rock then.
He wasn't The Rock back then. But I see him at a wrestling match about 10 years later. Got my son in there, go backstage to go see him and whatnot. He's like, yeah, Floyd, you remember y'all was talking that trash that, whatever. And he's all big and husky. And I'm
massive.
Sitting over there, he's massive. I'm thinking, yeah, that's what we're talking about, but I don't want no parts of it, right? Like, don't grab me, Dwayne.
He's different looking now.
He looks a lot different, man. I don't know what kind of workout you're planning on.
I think we do know what kind of
wrestler workout, right?
We do know what kind of workout he's on.
So that was another go. But, yeah, man, we go out there, and that 93 game, we're just like, man, it's not going to come down to a field goal this game. Like, we will not stand by and let this series come down. This is our best chance to win the national championship. I wish we would have had that same mentality going into Notre Dame that we had, playing against Miami, but we just knew we were going to win that game. Like we were going to take that one.
That's a fun game for so many reasons. I think it's is that Sean Jackson out the gates?
Yes, first play of the game.
Yeah, that's a fun game, and I remember being in the stands for that game, and it was a fever pitch. Like, can you guys feel that? Like, that's what I think is interesting for the guys tomorrow night, and we both know what the atmosphere is going to be like there. You've played in it. I think for a lot of these guys, look, it's not like Florida State has been consistently great, though they've been up, down, up, down, up, down. Miami has just been down, blip on the radar, down. But we're finally getting together again where both teams are good and there's something on the line. The path to the ACC championship kind of gets forged right here in this game. Can you sense that that's different when you step out there in an atmosphere like this? Can you feel the fans' energy?
Oh, yeah. That's why we need the fans in there, but as soon as the game starts.
It affects a player, though, in that situation?
Yeah, you see that. I mean, you feel that energy. Like, when the crowd is into it, you're fired up, you want to get it done. You like that. It's euphoric. You want that feeling, and you want to be, as a player, you want to feel that feeling. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely feel it down there. You feel the energy.
Mike's brought it up this week. Mike Norvell brought it up this week, and I've always wondered about this real quick. He's talked about, hey, look, be emotional. I get it. This game has all of that. It's going to bring all of that out. But trying to keep control of those emotions because guys bait each other, how difficult is it? Because I'm talking about smack talk. I mean, good Lord, there's no rivalry in the history as a sport that there's more smack talk than this one. I got to imagine, you can get right up to that line. Did you have a way of checking yourself?
Yeah, I was going to wait for the next play and try to knock myself out for the guy that was talking trash. I'm going to try to knock myself up, running into him.
Right.
So that was how I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get you the next play. But you can't get caught up in the moment. Like last week, I try to tell Zero, man, I was like, man, you got to make sure you control it, man, because those plays, where it doesn't look that bad or it doesn't hurt you right then, in the end of the game, you look back and it's like, man, that's one we could have had back. We were 3rd and 13 or 3rd and forever, wrestling up under the pile or whatever you're doing.
And you get that penalty, you still got to let it go.
You got to let it go and get them the next play.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to get that guy the next play. That's one thing about football. I mean, it's not the fourth quarter. It's early in the game. You pick and choose your shots, and you do it clean because you don't want to get took out and, be out of the game and hurt your team being that, from that standpoint. But at the same time, you cannot give up free yardage, man. That's what I always say about that's free yards.
Let me ask you a quick question about the game because you're going to be doing the color for the game. All right, so Florida State fans watch Virginia rush for over 200 yards. And I'm thinking to myself in the second half, their opening drive, after we don't go on the drive we need to go on, it's 12 plays, 11 runs, which as a former running back, you love, but you hate when it's happening to your team because it's emasculating. It's tough to watch. How do you fix that? Because Miami's going to come in and want to run the football. If you're Tony White, how do you fix that?
Well, I mean, I just looked at our position and our lineup. I mean, we knew that they're going to run the ball, but we were kind of cocky and staying in the same format, staying in the same formation. I mean, you got to stack the line of scrimmage. You got to put 8 guys in the box.
Make him throw it.
You got to make that guy throw the ball. Make him beat you with his arm. He's a great quarterback. Let him prove it. But he never had to prove it. And that's what I'm saying. The same thing about Miami. I like our chances against Miami if we can stop the run and force Carson Beck to have to use his arm to throw. If you look at that game against Florida, they kept it tight into the 3rd, 4th quarter. But what ended up happening is, they got wore out. Carson Beck comes out and throw an interception, puts them right back in it, and now you look at Miami, the next 2 drives, they take it out of his hands. They just start smashing Florida. If we do the same thing and we're able to stop Carson Beck and force him to throw the ball, stop the run and force Carson Beck to throw the ball, we're going to be in the driver's seat, because I don't see him. Like everybody's talking about, he has completions. He's 80, 75, 80%, whatever. But it's only out there. I mean, it's right here. It's intermediate passes. But other than that, when he's going down the field, these kids are just making spectacular one-hand catches or, they just, they make them look great.
Stuff that's tough to repeat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen like that every game.
One of these days, you and I will sit down and do 3 hours. I'm going to talk to you NFL. I'm going to talk about being at your wedding. And the purple suit, which was sweet.
Yes.
We're going to talk
purple
about
Crocs.
the whole thing. And I want to talk to you about your announcing career. But until that time,
love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Be good.
Always.
Yeah, take care. William Floyd. He is a Florida State Hall of Famer. He is bar none, and he will be in the booth on Saturday night, which is tomorrow, which is hard to believe. It's upon us. Florida State, Miami. Jeff Cameron Show live from Kraft Nissan 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
have the sizes and fits that make you look and feel your best. Nick's Big and Tall has one of the widest size ranges around, so no more settling for good enough. You'll find exactly what works for you. Stop in today and see what's new at Nick's Big and Tall, where style comes in every size. Nick's Big and Tall. Your fit, your style, your store.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
That it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
That's pretty amazing. This man just came by wearing his Lakewood High School alumni jacket from 1971.
Wow.
The year I was born.
You didn't want to sit him down for 5 minutes and get his story?
I did not.
Okay.
But I did. I mean, that's everybody who went to that school has that jacket, including myself. That's crazy. Obviously, mine does not say 71, as I was born in Holland and was kicking around the Dutch back then.
You know, I apologize to this chair as I sat down in it because it's had 30 minutes of greatness sitting in it. Like, I don't need a lower third. You know, it's like FSU legend running back, ACC champion, FSU basketball head coach. There's about to be another legendary figure in this chair, too, in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. You know what's cool is that Luke, as we take a quick break and get it to the top of the hour, quick breath as we take it to the top of the hour, and then we'll do this again here and have a couple more folks on. Luke not knowing that he had a winning record as a guard at Florida State against North Carolina and Duke is crazy.
Honestly, I didn't know that. But when you think about it and you break it down, Loucks to snare, that was his pass.
Yeah, Loucks to snare.
He was a part of the game against North Carolina, the Dolkeys game, right?
The Dolkeys game.
That was 12.
That's like a gazillion threes.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
they won ACC tournament games against them, a bunch of them.
Yeah, so he is 7-6, and it's kind of crazy to think about. I thought I'd throw that at him, and it's cool. And then, like I said, he is one of 5 coaches in the league that is a former guard. Jeff Capel, Adrian Autry played guard in the ACC. So did Hubert Davis at North Carolina. John Shire, obviously, at Duke. And then Luke here at Florida State.
Somewhere Mike Patrick genuflected when he said that name. John Shire.
John Shire?
John Shire.
So I also think that he's right, reflecting back on that real quick, that how much it resonates that he's able to sit across from people right now and talk a lot about running an offense or a defense in an NBA way. Because when he was at Golden State, he's in the front office before he gets an opportunity to be on the bench, to be an assistant on the bench. And then he goes to Sacramento, and he moves up. Like the way those NBA benches work, you know, you got guys, the further away you are from God, as they say, the head coach.
Same thing as an office hallway with the executive areas.
But you see in his career, he starts getting closer and closer and closer. Eventually, he coaches the Summer League. So as a head coach. So he's had an opportunity to put his hands on it, right? And he played over in Europe. And so he's been in the professional game for a long time, and he just stepped away from it. But he knows the way those practices are set up and everything from the type of player you have to be to make it to the league, what they value, because they track everything in the NBA now. Everything's a stat. It's not unlike international soccer.
It's like, crosses on a map, you know, longitude, latitude.
Yes, absolutely. If you get into like the Premier League or anything, and you look at the way the analytics work in that sport, it's fascinating, right? Like how much of this field does this guy cover and all those kinds of different things. It's fascinating. But they do this in basketball for every type of shot. They do this for every defensive measure. They do all of it. And so Luke is going to sit across from a player and just flat out say, hey, look, here's how I see you, because this is how the league would utilize you.
Right.
And I can teach you how to get the most out of this skill set in order to provide that for your next step in professional basketball. It's that does have to resonate. It clearly is.
Yeah, it is. Well, and if somebody's telling you the truth as you're looking them in the eye, they can tell.
Yeah,
they can see that.
Yeah, they absolutely can.
So when he says this is what you are according to the NBA, and you see the look, you know he's holding the data in his brain.
So you can tell there was a couple moments there where he's looking at me, and I realized like this is the way he is. He's sitting across from somebody, boom, 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 boom.
Well, and that person can look at their parents or their guardian or their coach and say, "You think he's telling the truth?" And that parent, guardian, or coach would say, "He doesn't have time to waste." So yeah. Why would he waste his time to tell you something that you want to hear? Because he's got to win, and he's got to win now. So it's just that's also part of the newness of the situation. I think also the desperation of being the head basketball coach at Florida State. Like, you have no time to waste. They might be able to spend 10 minutes kicking back in Durham, probably more than that. At Duke. Once they get their guys in, they don't have to comb over every detail. I'm sure they still do. But the point being, at Florida State, you have to go above and beyond, as we talk about on Mondays. Every moment is critical. That's why I love to hear some of your stories about earlier in this fall when you went to practice, and you see that they have people who might have resources to help the basketball program. Welcomed and shown the red carpet treatment. You have to do that. You've got to be desperate. You've got to be urgent. And for somebody who's so laid back, he strikes me as both.
When you watch a practice, and I can tell you from having been over there, it is intense. There is no wasted movement.
Right.
There's no wasted motion or time at all. It is of the essence. There's no doubt about that. We didn't get a chance to get into this, but I know one of his goals, and I don't think he'd mind me saying this, and I'll say it. He's jumping in the car now. He might be listening. I don't think he'd mind me saying one of his goals is to lead the country in scoring. So, he wants to lead the country in scoring, and he thinks he can.
That's a lot of possessions.
It's a lot of possessions. It's a lot of possessions. It's a lot of get out and go to create. Now, if you think about why you would do that, especially in year one, first of all, it's an attractive style to other recruits. Alabama led the nation in the country. Led the country in scoring last year. If you don't know that, it was 92 points a game, thereabouts.
Was that the program he was speaking about without naming names?
I think so, but I was going from memory, from looking up some numbers because I know one of his goals. But then you think about trying to imagine they want to win games, Tom, 97-91.
Right.
They want to win games that way. Well, it helps negate. Now he would probably argue with me on this, but it helps negate some of your weaknesses for next year until the big boys come in, until the artillery comes in. Not that they don't have some good players. They just don't have the high quality big yet on the roster. So what you're going to have in that situation is wear people out, get open looks, get more shots up, get out and run.
Yeah, that sounds like you're going to have to lean on a deep bench, though, in this case.
Oh, yeah. And I think he got a bunch of guys who are in incredible shape. And if you watch those practices, Tom, they are all – how Jimbo would never let a guy stand around in practice because everybody was –
the game's more active than the offense in the game itself because you stand around and wait.
The way he conducted practice was about good on good, 1-on-1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 2, but everybody was going, and then you rotated that. And it was everybody. So that way that, the practice ended and everybody got a lot of reps.
You were exhausted mentally as you were we got into a few, maybe like 10 at most over his time.
Yeah.
But tracking the data was so hard. You'd have to split fields because it's 1s, 3s, 2s, 4s. And sometimes the 2s were the more interesting story.
Yeah.
But you'd have to split up the responsibilities. If somebody has to watch the 2s and the 4s, there's too much happening at once.
Well, this is what you see at Luke's practice now, where everybody, 11 guys, just boom, 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 constant. And so I do know this. They've got a lot of athleticism, and they can shoot. They can really shoot. You're not going to be pissed when you watch them get open looks because a lot of them are going to go in. I went to a practice where they made 8 threes in a row, and it looked effortless. So I do think they're going to be able to shoot the basketball. I don't know how well they'll defend. I don't know how good they're going to be overall in year one, but they won't be boring.
Yeah.
They're going to be fascinating to watch play. They are going to upset a couple of teams this year that on paper look to have the better team because of the style that they're going to play.
I'll tell you, and I wonder, we'll see if the crowd response is relative to the enthusiasm you're speaking with, and I'm feeling too. Their exhibition season's coming up right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And that's usually the thing that happens the back half of football season is a lot of times maybe you'll get a Friday night game ahead of a Saturday football game. I wonder how well attended those are going to be because I can't wait to go. A lot of the years it's like, you'll win 100-50, whatever. No, I kind of want to see these.
Oh, I think he's going to utilize it in a fun way. I think he will have fun. All right. The final hour is forthcoming. We're going to have a couple more guests here. I think we're going to get Peter Warrick on in a moment. We're hoping to get Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward just made his way into the showroom right now. So we look to have both those gentlemen on the show in the next hour. Jeff Cameron Show live from Kraft Nissan. The Heisman's here. Swing on by, take a picture with it, see some of these Seminole greats.
Right.
93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
Texas Longhorns laying 6 at Florida on Saturday at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. The Longhorns have won 9 consecutive SEC road games. Florida 1-3 to start the season. Florida State has won 3 of its last 4 meetings with Miami, and they're 13-8 in their last 21 matchups of the Hurricanes. The third-ranked Hurricanes 4.5-point favorites at Doak Campbell Stadium tomorrow against Florida State, 53.5. The total, Kansas laying 3 at UCF. Monday night, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a 3.5-point underdog against the Kansas City Chiefs, 46.5 the total. Score $500 in rewards at the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Nice Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Nice Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Tish, and I want to personally invite you to join us each and every weekday morning right here on Real Talk 93.3 for the Greg Tish Show. We have the best guests in Tallahassee. We play the funnest games like Give Me a Second, the movie clip game, and everybody loves a food segment every weekday morning at 6:45. So start your day with Tallahassee's morning show, the Greg Tish Show, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And away we go. Hour number 3 of the show, 2 here at Kraft Nissan. Great to be here with Florida State legends, Florida State fans, energized as you might think, given that it's Florida State, Miami tomorrow night. I woke up thinking about it, still energized by this contest. It feels good to have that fuse lit yet again. Last hour, if you missed it, William Floyd joined us, bar none. Florida State Hall of Famer and just a legend, national champion, of course, Super Bowl champion for that matter. And then we were also joined by head basketball coach Luke Loucks in his first year at Florida State. So if you missed any of that, go back and find it. You can see it on YouTube. You can find it, obviously, with the podcast. We'll download that. It's fun to do, fun to talk to these guys. Busy weekend, a lot of recruits in town this weekend, a lot of people for all of the sports making their way to Tallahassee. Obviously, the energy in this town. And then here at Kraft Nissan, the Heisman Trophy is here. If you want to come by, see that, get autographs from the players, take pictures, do those sorts of things, you can do that right now. Peter Warrick is set to join us here in mere seconds, I think, and to come on over. And obviously, P-Dub should have a Heisman as well. But alas, we all know what happened there. But, yeah, this hour we will have Peter Warrick. In fact, he joins us right now. And then we will have Charlie Ward step in here. But lots of time still to go here at Kraft Nissan if you guys want to swing by. There he is.
Yes, sir.
What's up, baby?
Man, I'm good.
You doing all right?
Yeah, always.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to take you all the way back before we get into Florida State, Miami.
Who is that?
I'm taking you back to Bradenton Southeast.
You said against some team.
Oh, you don't even. Yeah. Well, you torched their ass, so you never lost to them.
Never.
Not one time.
Never.
Even
when I didn't play, we won.
That's correct. Yeah. Well, that was a big one.
It
was a big one.
Yes.
Turned out to be.
So they can't say nothing.
But you are also in the game at 47-0. Which was hilarious.
Yes.
And then, of course, you had the, 7-catch, $190, I think it was, beating them. That was a little closer game, but you went off in that game. That was the one where you high point on the underthrow, I think it is. Yeah, I remember that on the sideline. Yeah, cut on the sideline. You also had that catch where, that's my time. Now, I was just breaking into media then, covering you guys. The 97, 98, 99 is when I'm first getting into it. So your career, Wink's career, all of that, right?
That's my guy, Wink dog.
Yeah, so Wink hit you a lot in that game. So you go for a $190, but there's an underneath play where you make a guy miss. You get to the outside, you get to the corner.
And he hit me. Oh, that was Dwayne Starks.
Yes, that's right.
That was in Tallahassee, too.
So you still remember that. Okay,
I do remember that.
So can you remember every catch that you ever had against Miami?
I think I can.
I bet you,
not every catch.
Not every catch, because some of them are nondescript. You have a hell of a catch, by the way. I bet you forgot this one. I watched it this morning because I wanted to make sure my memory was correct. You know how it's early in the game down there on a throw. It's a bench route, basically, and Wink throws. It's an NFL throw, and you make a catch over your shoulder. You get your feet down. It's about 15 yards, 12 to 15. You don't remember that one?
I want to see it.
I'll pull it up when we go to break.
Please.
It's a good catch, but it's a great throw.
Real.
I was like, "Ooh, look at Wink!" I mean, it's a flick, and you make the catch. You make it look easy. You get your feet toe tap. It's to the Miami bench, and then you jump back, go running back to the huddle. It's like about 12 yards. It's a nice play. It's not one that goes.
I want to see it.
It's not one that goes down in history as a legendary catch because you had so many. But I was asking William Floyd, the first time you get in a game like this.
Yeah.
So you played at Bradenton Southeast. Oh, let me circle back real quick. So you're the number one receiver in the country, but you'd also played quarterback your senior year. Did anybody recruit you as a quarterback?
Yeah, Nebraska.
Well, that makes sense. Later on, Tommy Frazier and yeah.
So they wanted me to come there and play quarterback because Tommy was leaving as I was coming in.
Right. So that Nebraska little pipeline right there. Well, you would have won the Heisman here.
You right.
You would have won the Heisman here.
Yeah.
So
I know,
and if
I think about that.
But you know what? Do you really?
I do, because I think about like all the people that won the Heisman at Florida State. Their last name start with W.
And it's crazy because you would have been, which would now be 4.
Yeah.
And everybody knows you were the best player in the country that year. Hell, even with not playing in that Miami game, like you said, we won. But didn't you finish with something like 900-something yards receiving, even missing games that year?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about when you were a player, like, I want to win the Heisman? Or is it something that just kind of crops up as your career is escalating and you're having more and more success, you realize it's on the radar?
I'm going to be honest. All my life when I played sports, I never, ever thought about no individual accolades. All I focused and thought about was just winning. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't never care about how many points I had, how many touchdowns I had, or how many yards, nothing. I just always wanted to win. And I think that's a big difference.
What made you want to play at Florida State?
Winning. Actually, I told the story one time. My mom was supposed to go to Florida State, but she didn't go because she had me. So that's what it was about for me.
So you had a chance to kind of make that dream come true for everybody.
I did. Yes, I did.
Did you consider anywhere else?
I considered a lot of places.
I mean, you were
Miami was one of them.
Really?
Yeah, Miami was one of them for sure. Cause like coming up, that's what you knew. Like I'm from Breaks, so we knew about Florida Gators,
Florida State, Miami.
Yeah, it was always those three schools. And Florida, I thought about Florida too, because I actually went to Florida before I visited Florida State.
So how did Bobby Bowden's a legendary recruiter?
I went when I went to Florida, I met with Steve Spurrier, and he told me before I got ready to leave, this is what he said, true story. He said, if you want to win a national championship, you better come here. That's exactly what he said, man. When I left there, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go there.
You didn't like the approach?
Nah. But then when I came to Florida State, I met Bobby Bowden, and I was like, "Mom, this is where I want to be."
Yeah.
My mom loved him when he came there. It was different back then. Like,
come sit in your living room, man. Yeah.
Right. There we go.
Yeah.
He came and sat in my house, and my mom talked to him. He got to know him. He said he was gonna take care of me, and like I was his son, and he did it. Yeah.
Talk about that for a second. We haven't talked about Bobby before, you and I've talked to you about your career. I've talked to you about your successes. Talk about Bobby for a moment. We all remember Bobby with all of our heart and fondly. You say he took care of you like a father?
Yes. That was what I was saying.
When you had that rough patch there where you got in trouble, what did Coach Bowden say to you?
He was the first person I called, actually.
Really?
Yeah. He called me in the office, and he was just like, hey, listen. True story. He said, I don't know why his first thing he said, I don't know why they doing that because they give me a Benz every year.
Well, the truth is, hey, think about this. What you were, ostracized for or criticized for is something now that is commonplace. People get paid, people get jerseys, people get shirts, people get having the hookup, everybody grew up with a hookup. I mean, it's really compared to things that happened later on, years later in sports. Nobody would look at that situation the same as they did back then. Right. Back then, they made that the biggest deal in the world.
Right.
And
especially for me.
Yeah. And you were such a high-profile player and the whole thing went down like that, were you ever worried that your career was going to be derailed?
Nah, because I came from nothing. So whatever I got was going to be a blessing anyway.
Yeah.
So I never looked at it like that.
So Bobby put his arm around you and said, hey, I don't know why they're acting that way, but I got to suspend you for a couple of games. Is that how that went?
Yeah, he had to. So
I remember, was it the game against Dre Bly?
Yeah.
When you first came back?
Yeah, I told him, hey, you got one more. I told him, you got one more quarter. I'll be there. I couldn't wait to get in there.
Well, I couldn't wait either. Yeah. It was like everybody was the countdown clock. Yeah. We were all waiting for you to get out there. And
I couldn't wait. And
did he talk smack?
Yeah, that's all he do. He talked trash the whole game. But what's funny is when the game was over, he came up to me. He said, man, I didn't know you was that fast. That's what he said. Like, what?
What'd you run in the 100? You ran track in high school. You ran the 100.
10.5. Yeah. Everybody think, Pete won fast. I'm like,
you know why?
Nobody never beat me running.
Nobody did.
No.
But you know why, by the way, they think that? It was the combine time.
Yeah. But
so you had an average combine time for what we thought you were going in. And it dropped you to 4, you would have gone 1.
Yeah.
So 4, right? That's where you went to Cincinnati. So I think that's what it is. It sticks in people's brain that, Pete wasn't as fast as we were, but we knew you were elusive. We knew nobody could get their hands on you, but you were also fast. You ran away from people.
Right. But nobody never really talks about this too. When we had the combine, remember it rained, it poured down.
You had terrible conditions.
So we ran the 40 in the gym. We ran routes in the gym. Who does that? Yeah. Like nowadays, you'll be like,
you would have had a pro day is what you would have had inside the indoor practice facility.
We never did that.
They didn't let you redo it?
No, we didn't run no routes outside. Everything we did was in the gym. Who runs routes on the gym floor, on the basketball floor?
It's crazy.
Run the 40 in the gym.
They could have just put on the film.
Yeah.
They could have just said, I don't care about that time. Anyway. Just look at the film. So when you watch that stuff play out all these years later, like if you ever tune in, you see some guy out of time, what goes through your mind?
It's weird to me, like how, you can have a player who makes a whole lot of plays, and they act like he's not better than a guy who go out there who runs a faster time.
You're talking about football.
Football, yes.
You're talking about football.
When you play football, what are you doing? You're playing football.
Yeah.
How many people you know in NFL catch 90-yard touchdowns every game?
Right.
No.
It doesn't happen.
Like Tariq Hill, he fast.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to get open. That's what it's all about.
So your career plays out. You never lose to Miami. You win a national championship,
Yes, sir.
obviously. We all remember it. And, for me, for a lot of people, you're one of the 3 or 4 most favorite players in FSU history. Are you aware how you make people feel when you come out to these things and you see all the lines of people? Like, Peter, I think but you're one of Florida State's greatest players. And this has been a university that has produced en masse greatness. And you stand out along with Charlie Ward, who's here today. And obviously we know the Heisman winners, Jameis and Chris Winkie, but you're on everybody's short list. Do you ever think about what that is?
I honestly don't.
It's an amazing thing.
When you say those names like Charlie, Dion, famous Jameis, Winkie, I just be happy to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I don't never think about it because I'm not like that. Like anybody that knows me, they know that I'm a cool, nice, humble guy. I don't try to act like I'm better than nobody. And that's how I've been raised. So.
You ever get nervous in a game?
Before the game, I'm always nervous before a game. I don't know why until I catch the ball or get tackled
Get hit.
or something like that. Yeah. It's just the emotions that's riding for it. Every game, I don't care if we playing against Miami or we playing against Wake Forest.
You were always nervous.
Always.
Never got nervous before. So once you got into a game and you got hit or you made a play, at any point did you ever recognize situationally like this is it? Like I know famously in the huddle, you told Wink, let's go ahead and win this game now, right? Let's finish it, right? And you make that catch.
That's a true story.
That is a true story. And everybody, I asked Winkie about it one time, and he told me you walked in and said,
"Let me finish him."
And then you make that catch, which is bobbling the whole thing. It's an amazing play. He's got your arm pinned down. You still make that catch. You weren't nervous before that moment because really that game should have been a blowout if not for Michael Vick.
Right.
Who just ran around crazy and nobody could get their hands on him. He was an amazing player.
I think I'm a moment type of person. I think I wasn't good because of what I did. I think I was good because of when I did it.
Yeah.
That means a lot more. I mean, a lot of people don't know, like, when I was at Florida State, I didn't really touch the ball that many times. Like, right now, guys touch the ball like 10, 11 times.
Yeah.
I touched the ball 3 or 4 times at Florida State a game. That's tough.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I went back. I started this morning because I knew I was going to be here and I was going to have a chance to talk to you. So I was refreshing my memory, like I said earlier. And I went back and I started just looking at box scores.
Yeah.
So let me go back and look at the box scores because this is what I remember. Let me see if that adds up so I don't say something wrong.
Right.
And to your point, I'd be like, oh, he only had 2 catches that game, or he had 3 catches that game.
I'm telling you.
And then there would be these moments, though, where you're like, well, he had 3 catches for 115 yards, but like you were making plays. But you're right. It wasn't force-fed. Nowadays, because of fantasy football, everybody knows targets.
Right.
They know, like, well, this guy got targeted 10 times. You never thought about it?
Never.
Did you think about it in the pros when you first got to the pros? Like, hey, they're not throwing to me, or they are, or
definitely when I got to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It was like totally different because when I got to Cincinnati, like all my life I've been a winner. Now I get to Cincinnati and we losing games. I'm coming in after the game. I'm crying. They acting like this is normal. I'm like, it's not normal. Then what made me mad, like with stuff like that, was I go 3 quarters without even touching the ball. Like, who does that? Like, why am I here? But I never complained.
You never said anything to the quarterback. You never said anything to your GM. Never said anything to your coach.
Never.
I mean, they drafted you 4th overall.
Right.
They gotta get you the ball, man.
Because I've never been that type of person who act like that.
Yeah. So when you hear about that now, you roll your eyes?
Now it's like, man, what was I thinking?
Oh, you wish you had said something.
Because a lot of people be like, oh, he was in the NFL. He was a bust. He didn't do this.
Oh, well,
he didn't do that.
that's not.
But people, that's and that's what I be like. I didn't get the ball like that.
What ultimately?
We was running the ball. I had Corey Dillon there.
Yeah.
He definitely touching the ball 30, 35 times a game.
And that's back in the day where they fed backs. They fed running backs.
The center,
play action. Much different time. But I do wonder.
One running back.
Oh, and actually those running backs would say, I don't get going until I get my 15th, 16th, 17th carry. Right.
And if I don't get it,
we're talking.
All right.
Yeah, we're having a conversation.
You're having a conversation, yes.
What specifically about your injury? Because you had the great year where you almost have 1,000 yards receiving, and I think it was year 2 or 3 that you're there. Year 3, you go off in year 3.
Yeah.
And I think at that point people thought, oh, here it comes. He's about to accelerate this career.
I think it was about to happen.
It was about to happen.
Yeah, but then I got hurt.
So that injury happened. Did you know? At what point did you know I'm not the player I was, or could you admit it to yourself?
It took me a while. So a lot of people don't really know. Like when I got hurt, I tried to come back early for Cincinnati. Coach came to me. He was like, "Hey, look, we win one more game, we make it to the playoffs." So I'm like, "Okay, fine." I just had surgery. And it was like 2 weeks later. So what I did was for my team, and I was young. I should have listened to my mom. She was like, "No, you don't need to play." I'm hard-headed. I'm young.
You're a competitor too, though.
Yeah, I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
I went out there, my knee got infected, and it's never the same.
Changed everything.
People don't know that because I never told my story.
Yeah, and there's no way in the modern era an agent or anybody would have let you do that. Like now, guys, I'm not saying they're soft. They're not soft. They're tough guys. But if you got anything wrong with you, your whole management team is like, no. We're going to shut this down here. We got a long career ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're an all-timer, one of the all-time great Seminoles, which still means a lot to me and everybody out here. And you'll be in that stadium tomorrow, I'm sure.
No, I am. Can't wait.
You know what I love? You're not too proud to be on that sideline as cheering these guys on, man. You're in every one of the great pictures of the last couple of years. I swear to God.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, they see the gray beard. Yeah.
See that gray beard?
Yeah, everybody's there.
Yes, sir.
Be good, Pete.
Man, thank you.
Good to see you, brother.
Appreciate it. Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you.
Yes,
Peter Warrick, he deserved that Heisman Trophy. Would have got that Heisman Trophy in the modern era. There's no way they're sitting Peter Warrick down for 2 games. No chance. No chance. I hope you go take a picture with that thing and then. Yeah, he still would. Yeah, he would have easily would have been our. Well, at the time, it would have been our 4th eventually. Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show continues in a moment. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We're broadcasting live. Kraft Nissan's still packed here. Still a lot of people here coming by. Great Charlie Ward is still over there signing. For Peter Warrick, Jeff will be back in a moment.
Yes, sir.
Soft spots and weaknesses, but not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine. And we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
Number CCC 1335048.
Game day in Tallahassee starts with energy, and nothing fuels that spirit like Grassroots Coffee brand new End Zone Blend.
That's right. Every cup of End Zone Blend doesn't just taste incredible. It also supports our Florida State Seminoles football program.
Grassroots Coffee knows it's about commitment and being all in. Every sip of End Zone Blend helps push the program forward, supporting the grind and the climb.
So whether you're at home, have a business, or just getting fired up before kickoff, make End Zone Blend part of your game plan.
Support local and our favorite coffee roaster. Order Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend today at grassrootscoffee.com. And let's keep driving the Noles to victory.
It's that easy. Drink Grassroots Coffee and help support the Florida State Seminoles. And don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order at grassrootscoffee.com.
Grassroots Coffee's brand new End Zone Blend.
Grassroots Coffee.
Made for everyone.
Loved everywhere.
I'm Michael Garrison, 3rd generation here at Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. It's a common misunderstanding that a metal roof is more expensive than a traditional shingle roof. At Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee, we'll show you how affordable it really can be. A metal roof far exceeds the durability and lifespan of a shingle roof, saving you thousands of dollars over time. Not only do we have the technology to fabricate and produce the best materials, we have the most experienced contractors to install your roof as well. And we will match or beat any other price in tile. Find us online at metalroofingsales.net. You can trust the 3 generations of service under one roof.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
This week's Legacy Moment, brought to you by Cornerstone Memorials, honors Nurse Rachel Whitman, a longtime NICU nurse at Tallahassee Memorial. For over 25 years, Rachel held the tiniest hands and calmed the most anxious hearts. Parents say she had a gift, like she could hear every heartbeat twice. Rachel passed away in 2022, but the lives she helped save now walk, laugh, and grow because she was there at the very beginning. Nurse Rachel Whitman, an angel in scrubs, forever remembered. This has been a Legacy Moment, honoring the lives that shaped Tallahassee. Sponsored by Cornerstone Memorials, helping families honor their loved ones with dignity and care. Find out more online at cornerstonememorials.org. Do you know of a Tallahassee legacy that should be shared? Text the word legacy to 850-386-8255 to submit your story for the Cornerstone Memorials Legacy Moment.
This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, I should have mentioned that in that game where I referenced Peter had 7 catches for $190 and a touchdown against Miami. He torched Leonard Myers that game. That poor man has a family, Peter. It was something to behold. He had a game for the ages. Made those catches on the sideline. Peter was special. It's interesting, you know, I'm glad he got a chance to open up a little bit about coming back from the injury and then having the infection and coming back too soon. When you hear that, one, it makes me sad because he was going to be a great player and was a great player.
Yeah, the switch had flipped.
That was the year, again, that third year where he had almost 1,000 yards receiving. It was starting to happen for him. And then that injury occurs, and people do have this idea that he was a bust. He ends up in Seattle. You know, he got into the Super Bowl, of course, as a punt returner and for the Seahawks. But Peter doesn't often tell the story of the infection and the things that happened there. Mm-hmm. And I think if more people knew that, maybe they would be less inclined to say that somebody's a bust. I always looked at busts as guys that didn't perform as at the next level solely based on their inability to get the job done at that level, not something that was brought on or caused by injury. It's a shame when you see that really with anybody, any player from anywhere that was a great player in college and then gets to the next level and has some sort of career-altering injury, but it's a brutal game. Man.
Cadillac Williams, man.
Oh,
he was a rookie of the year, but still, that could have been an all-time career.
Oh, yeah. Famously, Gale Sayers only played 7 years because he blew out his knee, and he was on his way to shattering records. And, there so many players. I'm not saying Peter Warrick was Gale Sayers, but he was a really good player. And the college highlight tape resurgence because of YouTube and Ocho Cinco promoting it.
Yeah.
And then everybody going, what that did too was everybody went and watched that and went, damn, I forgot. Like non-Florida State people went and saw that.
Yeah, one of his biggest fans is LeBron James.
LeBron James, yeah.
He loves Peter Warrick.
But then you go back and what I do is like I was talking about this morning. You can watch that highlight reel, but then you go back and go game by game by game by game. And for me, watching Peter, again, I was just getting into media. It's different than when Charlie was here, when William was here. I was going to school and going to games and sitting in the stands. By the time I get to Peter Warrick, it's like I'm about to start a career. And I remember being so grateful that not just that I had an opportunity first years on the airwaves to be covering in 98, 99 a Florida State team that is the best in the country. I remember asking Ross Brannon, we were doing mornings back then, offensive lineman Ross Brannon. I said, if you don't go undefeated and win the national title, is this year a bitter disappointment? That was my actual question to him.
Yeah.
That tells you how good they were, because that's
Right.
an absurd standard to hold somebody to. He and Ryan Sprague were in the studio that day, and they both said, yeah.
Well,
and that's what they were.
At that point, you're at 12 years in a row of dominance, being top 4 every single year. That the streak was going to continue just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But you were at the tail end of the 14 straight. I laughed because that's the apex of our age difference. Peter Warrick was a middle school hero of mine. A middle school hero. This is when it's you put on the gear as a kid, as an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you care that they win. You don't know how, you don't know why. But as you start to get into middle school, you're listening to what your dad's saying a little bit more about watching the game and understanding the game and the nuances of the game and why somebody is great versus why they might just be good, really solid and good. Like that wide receiver core for Florida State was good across the board, but Peter Warrick was great. Why? And so that was one of those, he was one of those players. I hate to use the pun word, but he's one of those seminal players in my life that it was transcendent. In every game that I watched, you waited for him to do something special. He always delivered. It's like Dalvin. When Dalvin was healthy, and sometimes even with a bum hammy, if he was playing, you expected something to put your jaw on the floor, and he delivered every single time.
Well, I think when you're talking about legends of the game, and specifically we're talking about Florida State legends, that sort of descriptor is frequently used. So, for example, if you want to switch sports, you can do it as well. Buster Posey always got the hit that was needed. It's just time and again, right? Buster Posey came to the plate in a situation where if you needed a single, if you needed a home run because you're down 1, if you're down 3 and there's 2 men on and Posey came up, he's going to hit a 3-run homer.
Your win probability is here, and then after his at bat, it's there. You're like, oh my
time
God.
and again, and you would sit
Yeah.
there and say to yourself, I can't believe they're going to pitch to him. J.D. Drew did that as well for years. I mean, I was here when J.D. Drew was here, and it's just like watching that guy. I'm like, why would you pitch to this guy? Why would you pitch? I'd walk in a run before I'd pitch to this guy.
Yeah, if Michael Snare was taking a shot inside of 5 seconds to go, it's in.
He had a run where that was the case. If you got him the ball and he had an opportunity to rise up and shoot late, you felt good about it going in. Absolutely. He became kind of a legend for it. We've had, unfortunately, not nearly as many on the basketball court as we've had on baseball and football courts, and or I should say the diamond and gridiron. But it's I wanted to say to him with Peter that, both personally, and I think the fan base feels this way, like you're in that pantheon of the 5 or 6 greatest players to ever walk through those doors.
Yeah, you conveyed that to him. And he took it as it was intended to. It's just you can tell that if he let that process in a way that was a little bit deeper, I think he knows he would channel it not in a great way. Like the humility has to kick in, or else at some point you turn into, I don't know, egocentric, entitled. But it's just amazing how at peace he is in that interview. I mean, he is at peace with everything that happened, the great at Florida State, the disappointing in the NFL.
Yeah.
He is in a really good place. And that's great to see, because it also, when you see him having a great time on the sidelines, there are some players, maybe somebody for the other team, that when you see celebrating on the sidelines in years past, legends, you know that's the highlight of their life, like the highlight of their week. I think for Peter, this might be the 3rd best thing or the 5th best thing. He cares so deeply about it, but it seems like he's got a really good thing going.
Good to see you, brother. Love you too. Be good. I'll see you later. William Floyd leaving the premises. Always good to catch up with William. Golly, if we would have had that conversation and there was no timeline, and we could just talk, it hits me all the time a little bit. That, I mean, I would think I was 10 when we met. I think the first time I ever tackled him, I was 11 or thereabouts, or attempted to tackle him. And then his mother and my mother were dear friends before she passed away. His mom did. They would sit in the stands together for every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. She was a good woman.
He's been calling games for a long time now.
It's hard to believe.
I mean, the Jameis era, he was there. The Winston to Benjamin in the cold in Pasadena, he was there.
The best part is the beanie he's wearing, and then also the celebratory moment, right? Yeah.
I like how, even though it's the home broadcast, there's still a decorum So there's 6 people, there's spotters and engineers, and everybody wants to keep their mouth shut to give Gene his moment, to give William his moment, instead of the whole booth going, ah! Like everybody's like, they're silently gyrating because they're just so excited. And then Gene reaches over and hits mute, and then Gene turns the mic back on. It's just a great moment. I'm glad they caught that on video.
Getting that on film is cool. You know, one thing about William is he loves Florida State so much, and just so people know, you know, this makes me laugh. I'll tell you a story. About 7 years ago, I went to get my car washed at one of these places that you go through, and they wash it for you and they detail it for you, and you kind of sit and wait.
I need that.
And I went in to do that. It was a Saturday morning, non-football season, but it was or Florida State was on the road, I think is what it was. And I went in there, and no, it couldn't have been. It must have been that the season hadn't started. Anyhow, I go into the place and I sit down. I'm waiting, you know, and I've got errands to run. And this gorgeous car pulls up, and I look outside. I'm like, damn, that's a really nice Mercedes. And I'm just checking it out. It's William. And anyhow, he gets out and he sits down, and we start laughing and talking. And as we're talking, he's talking about Florida State, and he's talking about the season that we're going to have, and he's talking about teams and games, and he's just talking about the years going by. And his love for Florida State runs so deep. I started cracking up laughing. I'm like, man, you love Florida State like it's a child, like you're a child. And he's like, I do. And he's just like, I you know, he feels like in a lot of ways, obviously, it propelled him to the life that he has, and he's still forever grateful, and he loves Bobby Bowden much the way that Peter Warrick loves Bobby Bowden.
I mean, you have a love for Florida State that dates back to going to games with your dad before you're an undergrad, and then you transfer here, and then you have a love that develops another chapter. I think that's actually his Corvette that's pulling out right now.
I don't know what he drives now.
There's the vet that's going as Garnet, and he just left, so I'm putting 2 and 2 together. But, okay, so now there's another –
Mercedes, William.
or a beautiful craft Nissan. And so the love adds another chapter. And then you broadcast, and you are at the epicenter of the fan base for 25 years plus. That adds another love to the sport and to the university. I'm sure that's what this is for William too.
Yeah, and you know he gets. We were talking off the air after our interview, and he was talking about we were actually going through talking about what Florida State's defense needs to do for this game. And I was talking to him not as, hey, we're doing an interview, we want this or that. I said, listen, what are your thoughts, man? Because here's what I'm looking at. And we were kind of just spitballing together about what we think this defense has to do to get stops. Because that's really the game here now, right? You've got to stop Miami from running the football.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be every drive, but just enough. You can do it 3-4 times. Now you can take momentum of the game and set the pace.
Yeah, you don't have to do it every time. And it's an unreal ask to try to get a stop on every series against a good team, a top 5 team. But you're right. I do think those stops, the more they come early in the game, and you firmly establish not only that it's a different looking game, different game altogether than what we just had against Virginia. And then also you think about it, put that doubt in Miami's mind. I think Miami probably believes, and why wouldn't they, that they're going to come in here and run the ball. They feel like they're going to be able to push Florida State around. They're watching that tape and saying, look, this is a better offensive
Virginia can do that.
Right.
Yeah,
it's only natural that you would feel that way. So the first tinge of doubt that you can inflict by getting a 3 and out or having a couple of early stops, or they have to settle for a couple of field goals in the red zone, and now you go down and score, it changes everything about that game. And because that stadium, which is already going to be insane, comes alive in a way that there's a weight to it. If you're an opposing team, we've been in places where, listen, as much as we loathe them, when you go down to Gainesville and it's a big game, Florida State, Florida, where both teams are good.
Yeah.
The weight of that's a real home field advantage for them. We have that as well. They have it at Clemson.
Yeah.
Those feelings.
It was nice to feel that again in the Alabama game.
Oh,
it was nice to feel for what it was.
I felt a sense of relief.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people thought, I think your memories get a little murky.
But is Doak going corporate? Is Doak, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so
can it get loud again? Can it be what it was?
Right. Is there sound coming from one side, but the corporate side is, it's loud, but it's not as enthusiastic as when it was just the alumni sideline. Yeah, but no, it was a sonic boom that afternoon.
Yeah, and that was an afternoon game. So I'm telling you what I think, and for people, if you're younger and you haven't been over there for one of these, Florida State, Miami, Corey Clark wrote a good column today on Warchant.com about this, about how the players can't know what it's like. But he goes back like I go back to this series when it was the most special series in college football, and what that stadium felt like every time you walked in, home or away, for that matchup. I am so excited for some of the younger Florida State fans that are going to see these two teams match up where both are good. And at night,
Yeah, man.
I mean, just to walk into this it's unbelievable. It's actually unsettling in a way, in a good way.
Well, think about it. Yeah, there's 15, 20 years of undergrads that never saw it. They just didn't, because these two did not coexist at the same time. In name only, once or twice. We went through that in the first hour live here. But yeah, they have not. I never saw that ever. Florida a time or two, but not Miami. And that carries its own weight. And that's going to be a special thing tomorrow. And that's where, again, you fall in love with your university all over again for the pageantry of what that is before the game starts. That's why I was so grateful to be there for the Alabama game, because you feel the band and you see everybody on the field, all the extra personnel that are on the field, national personnel, the coaching staff, the players responding to the fans. The students were in the stands about Oklahoma early for the Alabama game. That brings its own energy. It's going to be special tomorrow.
We're going to take a quick break because Charlie is wrapping up signing for folks right now, and we're going to try to get him over here and have him hop on real quick before this little shindig winds down, but wouldn't be complete, I don't think. Crossing my fingers that Charlie will have some time for us. Charlie Ward, Jeff Cameron Show live from Kraft Nissan, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now,
a former Tallahassee teacher is now in state prison for misconduct with a student. Safina Webb taught English at a Leon County high school. She pleaded no contest to exchanging nearly 9,000 sexual text messages with a 15-year-old girl in 2021. This month, a judge sentenced her to 8 years in prison plus 7 years of sex offender probation. Court records show Webb is appealing her sentence. Judge Lance Neff has granted the defense's motion to delay the trial of accused FSU shooter Phoenix Eichner. The judge is now giving Eichner's defense team until next October to gather their case. The judge has now set the trial to start on October 19th, 2026, with hopes of it wrapping up on November 6th. Last week, Eichner's defense team requested that the trial be pushed back, citing their caseload amongst other things. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold. A pleasant lunch hour for us today, much like yesterday. But also like yesterday, the wind will be very strong and steady at this time. Temperatures will be in the low 80s, becoming the mid 80s by the time we head home from work. Skies stay fair the entire day. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Is its most tempting treasure. Fresh farm-raised oysters and clams. Plump, salty, and delicious, this bounty of bivalves makes any dish, whether grilled, baked, or fried, a little nautical, but nice. Sustainably harvested, these mouth-watering mollusks are available year-round. And with a flick of the wrist, a squeeze of lemon, or a splash of hot sauce, they turn any meal into a celebration on the half-shell. To see what fresh Florida farm-raised oysters and clams can do for you, visit freshfromflorida.com.
A healthier you is the first step toward a healthy baby. When planning a pregnancy, baby steps toward better health can deliver big results. Exercising regularly and eating a balanced diet will help you reach or maintain a healthy weight and increase the likelihood of a healthy baby. Taking a multivitamin containing folic acid every day helps prevent birth defects, and regular medical and dental checkups are especially important when planning for pregnancy. To learn more about taking your baby steps toward a healthy pregnancy, call Florida's Family Health Line at 1-800-451-2229.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Man, you guys are interrupting my conversation with Peter Warrick here. I'm trying.
He asked for the receipt. He wanted to see the catch.
Yeah, no, and I pulled it up for him right here. That throw is sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a seed.
from a former baseball player.
Yeah, it's one of the better throws. And it's funny, it goes unnoticed, but it's just a little 12 yards, whatever that is, that he's able to hit real quick. Yeah, this has been fun, by the way. This has been good.
You want me to duck out and see if I can get Charlie? It looks like he's wrapping up most of his photo and autograph
if you can grab
responsibilities.
Charlie, go ahead.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get Charlie in here and get one final conversation and get his perspective on this game, which, I mean, obviously, Charlie, you think it's funny, the contrast from 92 to 93, which is something I want to talk to him about. When you go back and watch the highlights and you kind of just watch the way he plays the game, you can see the acceleration of how comfortable he is because of what ends up happening in 92 with the Georgia Tech game. It's the birth of the fast break offense. The big comeback happens, and then Charlie becomes a different player from that point forward. But it's fun to jog your memory. If you guys are at home thinking about this, go back and go watch all of the 92 game and then go watch all of the 93 game. It's not just that, Charlie's much more careful with the football. It's his comfortability in the pocket. It's, he runs, but he runs only when he has to. And you start to see everything slow down. And, I got to imagine that's got to be a very good feeling anytime things can slow down for you because it's so violent, so fast, and all the pressure is on a quarterback. And, you're playing in that rivalry. To have the feeling that he had to have had in 92 and then to have the feeling that he had in 93 is something that obviously, you watch quarterbacks mature all the time and you recognize in those moments that, he gets it. And it's so rare. And this is why, Jameis was special. When you go back and look at it, I remember going up to the Pitt game, you just assume that there's going to be a moment where he's going to be nervous or he's going to showcase some of those nerves, and he never did. But that is so rare. And you see, a legend like Charlie Ward, and you see it even in some, early stages of Chris Winke's time. And he was a grown-ass man playing football here, that you see it there too. And then how much better he gets when things slow down for him.
So he's doing some VIP signings right now in the big man's office.
Oh, I see.
So I will grab him in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked about Peter Warrick being a hero of mine in middle school, a childhood hero.
This guy?
I remember playing with Charlie Ward and Bill Walsh's college football on Super Nintendo and just running slants and running around and making throws happen because I just wanted to be just like him and playing out in the yard. You had a lot of athletes that you mirrored and you did the play-by-play calls when you were in the driveway or in the yard.
Over and over again, yeah.
That was Charlie Ward. It was Warrick Dunn. These were the guys.
Oh, by the way, so that's a funny thing, too, when you go back and watch these games. You see the birth of the direct snap to Warrick Dunn.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a play. It's a kind of a nondescript play early on where obviously Warrick is a freshman and it's a direct snap to him, and he's just such a jitterbug as he gets through the center of the line and gets about 13, and you recognize the suddenness. That's the part of having these legendary guys and going back and watching that. You're like, I forgot that looks so different.
And it's just so hard to bring him down, square him up. He never got squared up even at the NFL level, in Tampa for Warrick Dunn's, point of it. And then it's an underrated accomplishment in athletics history. I know that we talk about it around here, but nationally, Charlie Ward's name isn't brought up enough about being a Heisman Trophy winner and a point guard in the NBA.
For more than a decade.
We've seen football, baseball crossovers, but we have not seen, it's just not talked about. We hear about Bo Jackson and some, we hear about Deion Sanders, but what Charlie did is unbelievable.
Well ahead of his time. That's the other thing. Is later on, it started to get recognized eventually. There he is. There's my man. Hop on in here, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. It's fitting that we round out the show with you, good sir. So let me start with this before we get into Florida State Miami. So first of all, I had a lot of fun this morning. I went back and watched it, all of 92 and all of 93. So to see the contrast of how much more comfortable you got over time. And we all know why, and everything that happened in 92 and the fast break off is the Georgia Tech game, and you just take off. But before we get there, there's a rumor, head coach, and I see the shoes, nicely done. There's a rumor that perhaps, and I don't know if it's official yet, they're going to retire your jersey, Florida State FAMU game this year. You aware of this, good sir?
I've heard hints of it, but I haven't had anything official. So I'll wait to see until I get official.
I don't think they're going to
notice.
lie to you. I don't think they're going to try to surprise you. There is a rumor that we're going to see that jersey up on where it should be, right there with all the other all-time greats. Congrats if that's true. If it's true.
If it's true, I'm always grateful for any honor. That's really not the reason why I do what I do. But God has blessed me to be able to be honored for the work that people see me doing. But when it's all said and done, I enjoyed my time at Florida State, and that's the reason why I played two sports. People ask me like, why did you do it? And I really didn't even think about the future, in the sense of trying to decide if I was going to play football or play basketball. I just kept my options open, mainly because I enjoyed playing the game. And God worked it out to where, I ended up playing basketball as a profession. But sometimes you try to outthink yourself.
Did you have a preference?
No, that's what I mean. Like
you really didn't.
No.
You like if somebody had said, okay, you can, you have to pick one or the other. At no point did you lean a certain way. You just wanted to play both the whole time. You liked them equally.
Yes, my preference was to have options, and
That's
so that was one reason. And then I wanted to be a senior point guard on the basketball team, and like I said, God worked it all out to where I was supposed to be. The NFL decided that me not being 100% committed to the process, which I wasn't,
right.
Because I chose to go and play basketball my senior year, but I was still in the process.
I know it worked out, obviously, and your career in the NBA was phenomenal. Do you ever look back, and now it's customary that there are guys who talk about playing multiple sports, and we saw subsequently people do it, and it was all nowadays it wouldn't be something that excluded you from being drafted in the first round. You would have been a guy in modern football. You were a pioneer in a lot of ways, Charlie. You would have been a guy now that people would have looked at and said, can absolutely, that game translates to the NFL game now. You ever think about what if? Probably not, knowing you the way that you think.
Not what if, but times do dictate certain things, as we know. And during my time, I wasn't going to become a first round pick. That's just wasn't going to happen, because you had to be a certain style, had to have a certain height in order to be considered a first round pick. And so I just knew that. And then I doubled down on the deal and said that if I didn't get drafted in the first round, I was going to consider my other options, which, I had other options.
How did that come up? Like, did you get asked by me? The fact that that's a bold statement that you make, and you're usually really subdued. You're kind of an introvert to some extent, if you don't mind me describing you that way.
Yes.
How did that come out? It seems like something you would have avoided saying if you had your druthers, or was it just a straight up honest answer to an honest question?
A lot of times people try to hide behind honesty in some form or fashion, but it was what it was. And like I said, I wasn't trying to manufacture anything, so I wasn't trying to hide or what have you. I just, doubled down, and my faith was a part of that, of having peace about it. Some people may say it was out of frustration, but it wasn't that. It was just the truth. Like, if I didn't get drafted in the first round, then I was going to consider my other options. So that was essentially what it was, and that's what I eventually did. But people didn't ask me to choose one sport or the other.
Right.
But even if they did, I didn't listen, obviously, but because I just trusted the process, and I trusted my heart and my will to want to be the best that I can be in whatever it was. But more importantly, I just want to enjoy my college career. That's the one thing that, I can always say is wherever I am, I'm always enjoying the moment. Like, I mean, we can have our plans and all those types of things, goals and dreams and what have you. But when you're in the moment, you just want to enjoy that moment. And so that's essentially what ended up happening.
Smart to do so. Stoicism is a popular philosophy now. People go back and read the Greeks and talk about living in the moment, being in the moment. You're not promised tomorrow. All those things. You were doing it way back then. Speaking of doing it way back then, Florida State, Miami, that's tomorrow. This is a rivalry for people of a certain age, my age, let's say, that means the most to them. And I went back and watched the 92 game this morning, and I was at that game, and I was also at the 93 game. And it's really apparent when you watch the 2 years how much more comfortable you are in 93. And I know the stats and everything else that ends up, that comes to fruition. I think you threw 17 interceptions in 92. At the time of the Florida State Miami game in 93, you'd only thrown 1 interception. You look so at ease. Did you know that?
Say it again.
You'd only thrown 1 interception going into that game against Miami in 93.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
I thought you said 92.
No, 92 you had 17.
That was totally. I had about 10, about 14 at that time.
Yeah, but it was but in the 93 game, you only had 1 going in, and you're so calm. Like, even when you're running, you're really calm. In 92, you're getting hit a lot. That 92 game, there are some hits. Folks, go back and watch.
Yeah.
Charlie takes some licks. And those guys were all, NFL players.
Yeah,
so were there any was there a moment in that game, let's say in 92, where you thought, well, this is different?
No, the one thing I can say about the 92 and 93 teams was our defense was really good.
Well, the Marvin Jones hit is famous in that game too, yeah.
So a lot of times, the offense always gets the accolades and all those types of things, but our defense was really good. My junior year, I put them in a lot of difficult situations. And even in that Miami game, I got sacked like 7 or 8 times.
Yes, you did.
And a lot of it was just my fault. One time, a couple of times I didn't step up when the pocket was just big as day. And I'm trying to spin out. But we had a chance to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we moved the ball up and down the field the whole game, but we just couldn't convert, and we ended up kicking field goals.
Could you recognize the things that slowed down in your brain? Because you're talking about spinning out of a clean pocket. You didn't really do that at all in 93, and obviously the offense has changed a little bit, but you look very comfortable.
So the one thing that people fail to realize, my junior year, I had never played quarterback like full time. That was my first experience. I was essentially like a freshman. And so I had to learn some things. Of course, and encouragements, coach, having those stadium steps, those interceptions, definitely encourage you to throw it to the right guy. It took me some time to learn that part. But essentially, that was what it was. People talked a lot about the fast break offense and the Georgia Tech and the offense that we changed to, because the 3 years that I was there, the offense was totally different than my junior year. And people kept talking about all those different things, but I didn't have the experience. And so that's how I struggled a lot, just trying different things. But once I figured out that if I can just keep it simple, so you'll see the difference between my running numbers my junior year as opposed to my senior year. They're a little bit different. And the reason being is you start throwing a lot of interceptions and you can actually run, you start running more.
Yeah.
You don't trust, your eyes and those types of things. But my senior year, I knew a lot more. I had a lot more experience.
Charlie, give me 1 second. I got to say goodbye to the radio audience. Stay here on the YouTube feed. All of you, we're going to continue to talk to Charlie Ward until tomorrow's pregame show. Everybody be well for the radio audience. Sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
No problem.
We're good.
So it was more, I had a little bit more experience. And then the Georgia Tech game kind of
It never is.
Come check out our brand new put me in a situation to where we just had to go.
You had to go.
Like it was fast paced. And we, like I tell people, we only ran 3 plays. We ran a smash route.
Yep.
We ran go routes. And then the other one was, we drop back and run. And that's how we actually came back to win that game. So a lot of it was based around experience.
the experience of playing in a Florida State Miami game, I think fans just dream of being a part of something like that. And you got to do it, and you got to be on the wrong side and the right side, and you got to be a reason for a lot of all of it. And how much different did it feel playing in that game than, say, any other? Obviously, the intensity, you can feel that, right? You know that going in. You're not a trash talker, but everybody else on that field was for both sides.
Well, I did get a lot of trash talk to me.
Yeah.
That did happen.
Never affected you, though, right?
No, I mean, I hear people talking. I normally, like I try to tell my players, people going to talk, just shut them up with your play. And so that was my approach to when I heard people talking. I just wanted to shut them up with my play.
Mm-hmm.
But the Miami games, very similar to Florida games. They're rivalry games, so you know they're going to be intense, and there are going to be a lot of people there. And so you just want to be on the right side of it, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have bragging rights, and you're going to be playing against
which you won't use because you're not going to brag.
Now I do. You know, against Florida, like I tell Florida never beat me.
Yeah.
But it's more, those games are always going to have a little bit more momentum going in because you're going to have more people there. Like I said, it's a rivalry game. So,
did you feel that pressure though? It comes with that, with the anticipation.
I wouldn't say pressure. It was more so we played in a lot of those type of games. So I wouldn't say it's pressure. It's just you want to rise to the occasion. Like that's like your goal and your momentum. I mean, your mindset is you just want to be the best that you can be on that day because you know everybody's watching.
Yeah. Yeah. And in those days, Charlie, it was the biggest rivalry in the sport. It really wasn't close.
And if you want to make your name nationally,
that's the way to do it.
Those are the games that you want to rise up in, for sure.
Well, congratulations on the thing that we think may happen here coming up when Florida State and Florida A&M meet on the hardwood for the first time since 91. I think it was the fight, 91. Unfortunately, the whole thing that went down. But peaceful get together this time around, and perhaps a great celebration in your honor. I know you don't want to talk about that, but I think that's going to be a great thing for Seminole fans everywhere to see that. I want to wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I always appreciate talking to you, Charlie.
I enjoy watching and hearing you.
Thank you, man. We go way back when you were over in Pensacola. We used to do radio together.
Yes.
All that good stuff. The great Charlie Ward, Heisman Trophy winner, legendary Nole, and now head coach at Florida A&M basketball program, was kind enough to sit in here and join us at the end of the show. Thanks so much for everybody watching the Jeff Cameron Show and for stopping by Kraft Nissan this afternoon and seeing the other legendary players and seeing the Heisman Trophy winner. And that's one of them right there. Be well until next time, and go Noles.
Go Noles.